Hello, hello, Happy New Year, and I hope everyone had a nice holiday if you managed to get a holiday from work. I've been having all kinds of problems with various bits of hardware. It's taken me a quarter of an hour to get my microphone working. It's taken me 2 attempts to actually send the live stream out to YouTube, so even my computer's had a holiday by the sounds of it. So yes, not quite sure if things are coming through properly to YouTube. Hopefully they are. It's going out on Twitch as well. If it isn't going out live, then apologies for those who join sometimes. I will pop it up afterwards as a pre-record, but as far as I can see, it has been going out on YouTube. It just might be a little bit delayed. Not entirely sure why. So tonight, a couple of things to go through. I did take a nice holiday, so it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a live stream, both a Christmas holiday, and then I was lucky enough to be away snowboarding in January for the first week of January. So I didn't do much, to be honest, during that time, but I did work a couple of evenings on some background art updates and things like that, so I'll go through a couple of them first and show you what's changed. A couple of the scenes where I took my laptop away with me, not on the snowboarding holiday, whilst I was away with family at New Year, and I just kind of finished off some of the polish for some of the scenes that I was working on that I constantly keep saying I'm going to finish this one, so I got some of them done, and they look quite a bit nicer now, so I'll start off with them, and then I'll go on to the topic of tonight's live stream, which is balls, because there is a big ball pool scene to draw, and whilst I started trying to draw it over New Year, I failed to get the look that I wanted of all the balls in the ball pit, so I've just been doing a bit of research into how to get like a custom brush manager for Aesprite to try and improve how that's going to look. So I'm going to go through a little bit of that as well. So let's jump straight into the backgrounds that have been updated. Hopefully all this is still working. So this is one of the backgrounds which those of you who've been following along, I keep on saying I'm gonna finish at some point. So I've done that now. I haven't imported it into Unity yet. You're looking at that in Unity. So the Aesprite scene, ta-da! This has now got all the detail in it that I hoped for it to have originally. So we've got like nice texture on the walls and things. We've got all the path texture in, some rubbish. We've got these posters all finished off, and in particular the alleyway. This was all a bit too bright, and now we've done the roof scene. I wanted to get the roof lights in, the fire escape, and all the things that you can see from the other side, the big tree that's in the way and things like that. So it's just finished that scene off nicely. Much happier about that now. Feels complete. So that will end up needing to be imported. I might do that tonight as well. And then the other one, if I flick back to Unity, that I've done a couple of updates to, is this one. Let's just switch back, turn off some of those things that are in the way, turn off the hotspots for a moment so you can see that, and turn off the lights. Oh, I have to disable them. So you can see it in its natural state, full screen that. So that's how it was before New Year, and this is how it is now. So it's only a slight change to it really. I've been adding some graffiti to this wall and just sorting out this ladder so that I've got the ladder up and the ladder down once you actually manage to get the ladder down. So I just did a couple of things on there, started this bit of graffiti which has got some relevance in the game, and again added the stuff that we know we can see from the roof, so the 2 roof lights, fire escape and things like that, and tried to get the perspective right for that. I think I even added this in as well. Is that right? Yeah, so I've just changed some of that so that you've got a bit more perspective correct there. So yeah, that'll need importing. So I shall maybe get onto that this evening, just so that they're done. and the rooftop as well. So I just made a couple of changes to the rooftop. So that's it with all of its lights and things turned on. Let me just turn them off so you can see what has actually changed. So I'll just disable the lights and turn off all the hotspots and full screen that. So yeah, I just wanted a bit more detail in this grill doing. I need some other bits of shading and things done. So there we go. That's the rooftop. Managed to get a bit of rubbish in, some cracks, some wet areas, a bit more detail on things. I got the skyline and everything done on a previous live stream. The little bit of graffiti we talked about on the live stream, just got that on the corner. So yeah, feeling a lot better about that, and it should look really nice once I bring it in and add all the lighting back to it again. So might just do that first. Let's get these things in. So I don't think there's any. Oh, I put the window in the alley as well. I don't think there's any need to set any separate areas for this. I just need to import the background, I think. Let's just check that. I've said that. Not entirely sure if that's correct. Let's have a look in the set geometry. So the dish is a foreground item and the skylights are a foreground item. And yeah, I've added that little bit of graffiti, so it's a pain, but the backdrop is the main thing. Like all of that other stuff needs to come in. So let's just see where they were saved. Oh, what's happening there? Rooftop background. Yeah. So I just need to import that. And the dish and the skylights. So all of them need exporting from Aesprite. Let's just do that now. Get that out the way. So the backdrop. I think we decided the tree can actually just be part of it. I think in Unity, excuse me, that's what I might have done. Yeah, I did. So I baked the tree into the backdrop. So the problem when I forget what I've done, so I think all that's in the foreground, yeah, is that tree. So let's just call that tree instead. Make a bit more sense when I come back to this. Bring that whole folder into the backdrop folder. Try that again. Right. So we want to export that. Just get rid of all of them for now. So file, export as. Now to check this is rooftop background, all frames, right, yeah, full canvas, export, save over it, check in Unity, there we go, updated automatically, lovely, like that. The dish hasn't changed, the skylights have changed, so let's just do them as well. So skylights. Apparently the skylights, the Kilroy graphic is on top of the skylights. So that's all that's actually changed, that little Kilroy graphic. So let's just export as, go to the folder, rooftop skylight, save, yes, export, pop back to Unity, and there we go, the little Kilroy was here, has found its way into the scene. So that's that one sorted. Let's put that spots back on, turn the lights back on, save that, just give it a quick play, make sure everything's lined up. Yeah, so he's travelling behind them correctly. Yeah, that's all looking good. No issues with that. Lovely. So let's go and do the other two. So side alley, it's just the backdrop there. Basic backdrop. So it's called side alley underscore basic backdrop. We need to replace. So side alley. Don't want the foreground things. Doesn't really matter when you're doing the background because I've got this black shadow foreground in front of everything anyway, but let's just export that. File, export as side alley basic backdrop. That's the correct one. Export, yes. Come to here, and there's the graffiti. So that's that one sorted. Make sure these things are still on. Give that a test. Make sure we haven't messed anything up. Always worth checking it. So yeah, these foreground bits haven't been altered. Ah, right, yeah, I've accidentally put the ladder in its down state, so I need to actually remove the ladder from the backdrop and do it separately. So that is something I need to sort out. So we don't want that ladder showing. So we'll turn that off. In fact, the ladder down and ladder up want to come out of that backdrop, really, so that they can be positioned above it. So let's just have a kind of a thing of making hotspot or interactive things yellow or green so I can see them in my hierarchy. And this ladder up and ladder down need to be separate items really so that we can change them out. So let's just do the backdrop again like that. So file, export as side alley backdrop. Yes, the ladder should have disappeared now. It has. So there's no ladder there. The default we're going to have to put into separate overlays effectively. So we'll do the ladder up first. So it's just that. So file, export as. I'm going to just call this ladder up. Do the full canvas size so it just overlays it perfectly. Export, and then let's do a ladder down. Export as. Just call this ladder down. Save that. Export. So we should have all these separate bits. We just need to create some assets to do that. So ladder up and ladder down. I'm going to select them both and then select my preset, single art presets. I've said this lots of times, but it just basically turns off the compression so that you keep the nice pixel art. So apply that. So I've got 2 sprites for that. We'll just drag ladder up onto the set geometry and reset its transform, and that should line up exactly where it was. And the ladder down onto there and reset its transform. So we've now got both those sprites displayed. So we're going to have to just put a bit of logic in when you first come in here that the ladder isn't up. It's going to require some variables for the scene and things like that. So if you come back to the scene and the ladder's down, then you'll be able to see the down ladder rather than the up ladder. So we could do that. This is similar here. We're checking the bin lid status. We're going to do a check on that ladder. Do I need to actually? Yeah, probably. Let's sort that out. So we're going to need a couple of things on here. We're going to need a remember visibility. So the visibility on start is on. So this ladder is the ladder up position is how it's set at the start. So ladder down, remember visibility on start is off. And then we're going to do some checks. So if I press play now without any variables set or without checking anything, it should be in its up position. And that hotspot, that yellow hotspot's something else we'll have to sort out later as well. Because if you look at I don't think I actually put any actions on it yet. But yeah, we're going to have to change the size of that hotspot as well once it's down, because then you want to use the other ladder. So we might even call that actually ladder. I'm going to call that ladder up, and then just make sure the name is just ladder. Otherwise it'll say ladder up. This is just for so that the hotspot's got the correct name, because there'll be a ladder down hotspot as well. I'm going to create that now. Ladder down. Just edit that. That's going to be full length for ladder down one. What's a pain is that the labels are over each other, so you can actually fix that. I just undo that change and move the whole thing down. So see that ladder down text is coming down with it. A bit like that instead. Then edit its collider and put that right the way to the top. So yeah, we've got those two hotspots. They're going to need a remember visibility thing as well, because they're going to need to be turned off at some point. So remember, actually we need to remember hotspot on them because they're hotspots. So remember hotspot, state on start is on for the ladder up, and then a remember hotspot for this one, state on start is off for that. So we've got two different hotspots with the default ons and offs. Still no variables or anything yet. This is just to set up so that the bottom half is not available at the start. So that's correct. Then when you come into the scene, we're going to do some sorting. So let's rename that group to ladder checks, just so we can see it. Oh, actually, it's a bit of a pain when things are in groups. We'll put it in the group afterwards. So we're going to need some variables in this scene. So variable, local variable, let's call this ladder. Let's try to give it a name that isn't up or down. So ladder ready. So it's false at the start. Is the ladder ready to climb, i.e. down? That's just a little note for yourself, that. So it starts off ladder ready is false. So we're going to check that ladder ready. If the value is true, then we need to show the down state. So we do object visibility, and the object we want is the ladder down game object, not the hotspot. Hotspot's in yellow there, so we're just showing the graphic there, so it's visible to affect children just in case. But and then we want the hotspot itself as well. So we then want to do hotspot to change ladder down. No, it's not change interaction, it's enable or disable. Ladder down, I want to enable it. So just to step through that, if the ladder's ready, so if the variable ladder ready is true when you enter this scene, then show the ladder down sprite and enable the ladder down hotspot. We also want to hide the other two states, so we can duplicate them, drag them to the end. So we want to make the ladder up graphic invisible, and the ladder up hotspot, we want to disable it. So all of those things happen when the ladder's ready. And then we kind of need to do the opposite for all of these. So we duplicate that, drag them all down here. So if it's not true, so if the ladder isn't ready, ladder down is invisible, ladder down is disabled, ladder up is visible, and the ladder up hotspot is enabled. So that should be all of the logic for swapping the ladder sprites and the hotspot. I know there's lots of different ways of doing that. We've been through this lots of times on the live stream. You could group the hotspot and the sprite within a game object, and you could just move that game object off the screen. So then in that case, the hotspot wouldn't be clickable because it would be off the screen, and the graphic wouldn't be visible because it wasn't on the screen. So you could do that in a very different way. I've just got so used to doing it that way. I feel more comfortable with it, not sure why, but it would probably be a simpler set of actions than that. It would just be moving it off screen or moving it on screen, but then you'd have to set up the hierarchy slightly differently as well, because these graphics would need to be in the same game object as these, and I prefer it not to be that way. So it was quick anyway, it was fairly quick to do. So now what we actually need to do is, this is going to be checked whenever you come in. We'll group all that. So group selected. Let's just rename that group. I can never, where is it? Group. I can't see rename. That's strange. Ah, I've had this issue before. Yeah, if you zoomed out too far, you can't do it. I think I mentioned this. It might have been fixed in a new version of Adventure Creator. Yeah, it depends how far in you zoomed. Rename group doesn't appear when you zoomed out here. When you zoom all the way in, it does. So let's call that some weird UI there. Ladder check, just so we know what that is. And again, you can recolor these just to help with keeping it neat. If you want both these things to run at the same time, you can add an action which is running parallel to outputs, and then these two things will get run at the same time. Onto that, onto that. So when the scene starts, this is the on start action for the scene, all those things will get checked. By default, the variable is false, so the ladder isn't ready. So if I click play, it should be in its not ready state, which is up, which is great. And the hotspot area is just at the top. Now if I change that variable initial values to true, come into the scene, there you go, the ladder's down and the hotspot's all the way down it. So we're not doing anything with that variable yet. It'll come later when we come to put the puzzle together, but that's all the logic set up ready for it. I'll just set that back to false, because in the progression of the storyline, when you arrive, it's by default it's not ready to climb. So that's that one sorted. We were just coming to put some graphics in, and we've ended up doing some actions as well, so that's good. 2 birds, 1 stone and all that. So the other scene we wanted to update was the front Funky Monkeys. So yeah, this one, it's got quite a lot of lighting. It's got a whole like coloured light on the front of it, this scene light, which I believe is, yeah, quite dark purple, just darkening the whole scene. I'll perhaps lighten it a little bit now I'm not so, well, I guess the word isn't embarrassed with the graphics, but I'm happier with the graphics now, so I can maybe make that a little bit lighter so it doesn't seem quite so dark. Let's get the backdrop imported. I don't think I changed any of the foreground things on it. So, monkeys, there it is. I think this is all background stuff that got changed. So just close up the background. That's all car stuff in the foreground. Yeah, I don't think I changed any of the foreground things there. So it is just the background that needs exporting. So file, export as, let's check it. Oh, is that correct? Yeah, I think so. Oh, I never trust myself here. Let's just see if that's where it was. For the background, sprite is Funky Monkeys. No, it's not going to the right place. So Funky Monkeys basic backdrop is what it should be called. Yeah, so it's going to a different location. Yeah, it's not going to the right place at all. So it's going to my sprites. Yeah, wasn't in the right folder. Rooms, Funky Monkeys basic backdrop. Export, get Unity, lovely. Yep, so we've got all of the nice graphics of the posters and things, and all the shadows, shading, extra textures, the stuff at the top, the side alley, the tree, all of that's sorted out now. So that looks much nicer. Give that a save. Let's just try it out. Make sure we haven't accidentally pulled something into the foreground or anything like that. So you can see him there. Oh, my trusty green Vauxhall Cavalier. The pinnacle of motoring from the 1980s and still going strong. Yeah, I put some text in here a while ago. Yeah, all the foreground stuff's in the right place. I've got these little icons. You can see these are the default icons that they use and talk to icons that are in Adventure Creator. I need to swap those out. Yeah, some of these text things were placeholders. Now I've drawn burgers and beers and things. I've got some other like lines to put in there, dialogue lines. Yeah, so that's all looking nice. And if I go to the side alley, yeah, no ladder's in the correct place. All good, and we've got the graffiti in now. Yeah, excellent. So that's the first half an hour of the live stream, and I haven't talked about balls. So now is the time to discuss balls. One of the other scenes that I have started drawing is the soft play area inside Funky Monkeys, and I knew when I first started this that I was going to have to draw a ball pool because I wanted there to be a scene in a ball pool. So that made a rod for my own back. I have started drawing the scene. This is it. There's a slide into a ball pool. It isn't finished yet. And this ball pool is going to be full of plastic balls that you would get in a ball pool. Now, I thought originally, you'll see there's loads of different layers called balls, ball, all balls flat, brush balls, all balls copy, where there's loads of balls. And I kind of drew them, and I just wasn't happy with the way they're all sat on top of each other. And I know this is picky, but if you've been watching the live stream for a while, I'm quite picky about these things, especially when the background art is like a huge part of the game. that the balls should be in front of each other as they come towards the camera. So I kind of drew them originally like that. And I didn't draw them individually. I made a single ball and then started copying and pasting the ball about. So there's like loads of yellow balls in the hierarchy here. If I turn all of them off, you'll see them all disappearing. And then there's each of the colours. I don't like the colours. I think they're ugly. So there's a couple of things I want to do, and I thought I would do it on the live stream, because after doing this, which I think was might have been the day after New Year's Day, so I was over in Cumbria at my mother-in-law's, and we were about to head off snowboarding to France. So I had a couple of days where we were just chilling out, and I started drawing it, and when it became a bit of a pain, I thought there must be some kind of tool that could just let me paint these balls in as brushes. So I had a little look around for a minute. I thought I'm going to do it in Photoshop, because I know that Photoshop can do that, where you select a single asset and then just paint with it. But that didn't really do what I wanted either. I couldn't control it in the way I wanted to. Going into Photoshop has a tendency to want to smooth the edges of things. So I looked around for something for Aesprite and found a plugin for Aesprite, which I decided to buy. It cost the grand total of £4.99 or something. It was $5 or something like that. And it's an extension called Live Brush, which I thought I'd just mention here. It's like a custom brush manager. And if you're a Aesprite genius, you maybe have a different way of doing this. And if you're into kind of these extensions and things, and maybe there's some other ones that do similar things. But I had a little read of this just before I went away and thought, this is exactly what I'm after. So you can kind of copy a variety of sprites and then like paint with them. You can see they're doing it with grass here, where you're painting just automatically. It cycles through a load of different brushes, and I thought, brilliant, I can draw a range of different coloured balls and then just click them down in a way where they overlap each other correctly. So I thought this will work. So about an hour ago, before this live stream, I bought it and installed it, and just checked it worked before I made a mockery of myself on the live stream. So I've got it installed. I'm not sponsored by this guy or anybody else. I just found this and thought this looks like it's going to work. What I did notice, a little bit of gossip for you, whoever Carbs Code is, he's a bit pissed. Would have been nice to get credit at least. Cool additions, but still ripped off my tool, sad face. So I guess Ben's brush by Carbs Code is a similar thing. And yeah, I just didn't see that. Sorry, Ben's brush. But yeah, it seems like that's a nice tool as well. So I'm not plugging any particular tool, but it looks like maybe Ben's brush did quite a bit of hard work and this other guy has added some other features to it. But I bought the other one, so apologies, Ben's brush. Didn't notice that. It was too late. I just found this when I did a Google search. So I'm gonna just use that, and we're gonna set up a ball or a series of balls in the colours that I like, and then I'm hopefully just gonna be able to paint them down in a way where, like you can see here, the ones that are in front of other ones that are further back, should, like this yellow one just looks like it's floating. It should be in front of others. Incidentally, there's going to be some characters stood in here. So whatever I'm doing here, I'm going to end up coming back and like touching it up a bit. And there'll also be a cutscene, which is going to involve the animation of these balls as well. So I'm making lots of work for myself here, but I think it's important it looks right, and I'm just not happy with the way that looks. I might go through this whole exercise and find out it looks exactly the same, but I've tried a few different things. I tried painting them down as brushes. I tried just independently doing them, and that wasn't looking great. yeah, I just wasn't happy with all these different variants of doing it. So I'm going to get rid of all of these and we're going to start afresh. I think what I will do though is I did make one ball somewhere. That one? There's no point in me drawing the ball again. I was happy with an individual ball. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I got rid of the original ball. Anyway, it's not exactly difficult to draw. You can see each ball has got a little bit of shading on. Just gone with top left shading. So I can do the lighting this similar for all of them. What I'm going to create is a little document to create the brush in first. So how big were they? How big did I make them? So I just copy that. Does it actually tell you? Is that it? 12 by 12? Looks about right, yeah. 14 by 15 there, so that with one space around them is, yeah, 12 by 12. So we're going to create a new document, which is 12, and we're going to do, I mean, how many colours of balls you get in a ball pool there is the question of the day. I guess if we do 5 different colours, so 12 times 5 is 60. Yes. Nope, don't want it that way around. So let's do that again. I want the other way around. I don't think it really matters. I just messed with my head a bit, that. So we want each ball to be 12 pixels across. Let's just check this. I'm not sure what my grid settings are set to. Yeah, so it's 60 by 12. So we're just going to get a brush. We're not going to be using my default colours here because I think we need something just a bit more lively. So yeah, that's what I was doing for the size of them. So it'll basically be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's not right, is it? We've got a big gap at the end. Oh, because they've all... There should be a gap of 2 each time. 2, 2, 2. Right, yeah, that looks right. So we're going to create 5 different coloured balls. We'll start, I think, maybe, let's just do this in grayscale to begin with. Let's put all the shading on. What did I actually do with the shading? Just put the little top corner of shading on, didn't I? So just a little bright bit at the top. I did a funny shape before, but I think that looks all right like that. And then a dark bit at the bottom. So maybe not that dark, just a touch darker than it is. And then I'm going to try and like recolor them all so I can get a set of colors that I like. I mean, you shouldn't really be able to see the bottom of them because the next ball will be in front of it. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if that looks right. I'm not sure if we should be having... Or just put a little shine on them. Could just put like a little shine like that. Yeah, maybe that's better. Less is more. I think that'll do. Do we put a little full-on highlight in there? No, we don't. So that's our default ball. I'm going to copy that. And then we're going to do some hue and saturation changes, I think. That was my thought anyway. Might not work so well. Oops. No, let's just save some of these ones I've been messing with and close them. Right. So we'll just go edit, adjustments, hue and saturation. So it's about getting, I guess, a nice set of colours that are kind of complementary. What's V? Oh, it's your darkness. What does V stand for? In whose world is V darkness? And that's alpha, I guess. Let's set that back to 0. So let's just paste a load of them in the correct positions. Paste, paste. So there are 5 balls. I think we want one that is, oops, invert. Kind of a reddy pink one. Like that. I'm just marqueeing each one with M to marquee it. And then adjustments, hue and saturation. I'm having to put the saturation right up so we can really give it some colour. Definitely want a green. Kind of primary colours that you'd get in a play area. Yeah. Escape, marquee, the next one. Need something orangey, don't we? Or do we go with something pink? It's been a long while since I've been in a ball pool. These are difficult decisions. Something orange, maybe. Looks all right. I used to love a ball pool, come to think of it. I always remember as a child jumping into a ball pool, like diving in head first. And I probably hit my head on the floor, come to think of it. And then not being able to like work out which way was up. Like I was stuck in the ball pool and couldn't work out how to actually get out. Terrifying. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've got some latent childhood trauma of ball pools and that's why I've decided to include one in my game. Who knows? Right, let's maybe like a purpley one as well. Maybe not as vibrant. I think the problem's going to be once they start getting dotted around, I'll be not like the colours, and we're not going to be able to alter them so well. I mean, what we'll be able to do, if we get all this on a separate layer, just looking how they look from distance, we'll obviously be able to change them all and adjust like the hue and saturation of them all. So we'll be able to do this at the end if we're not quite keen on the final colours we rest on. But they look all right for now. Let's try this live brush plugin then. So I'm just going to save this. Aesprite. items, no, let's save it in the locations actually. No, let's not. Our items, let's call it ball pool balls, just so that we've got them in that state before we mess them up. And I'm not totally sure how this plugin works, so we want to make sure we can come back to it. So you go to live brush. Once you've installed it, you just double click it to install it. You get this live brush. From my understanding, I am going to be making 12 by 12 tiles. And the mode, I think, I did try this just before the live stream and I think it worked. It's set from selected grid tiles. So if we select all of it and we hit create brush, it should create tiles of 12 by 12. And because we've made sure they're 12 by 12, it should grab them all. So I'm going to go create brush. Let's call it balls V1, because I know we're going to cock this up. So balls V1, right, so I've got it now as a brush. And then the brush transition in its default mode, if I go to the soft play thing actually, let's turn all these balls off, all balls, let's create a new layer. In its default thing, brush transition static, so it's just the same brush all the time. But if you change this to forward, each click you do, it brings you the next brush that we set up, which is perfect. This is what I read about, so I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want. So we can randomize them as we go, but even better than that, it's got reverse ping pong, but it's got random. So every time you click, it just brings you a random color from that set. So that sometimes you're going to get ones that will be the same color next to each other. But you can see how that is just so much quicker than anything else I've been doing. It might even be possible, I think, to set up a shortcut for like next brush. You see already that's looking much nicer because I'm working from back to front. It gives you a much better like perspective of the balls. So what I need to do is kind of work from the back and work my way around. So let's just delete that. I don't know what the advanced mode is. Oh right, you can do all kinds of stuff. Brush set. Oh cool, see. Oh, it was the test I did earlier on. I think you can just choose a different brush. And you can set rotation values each time as well, which we don't want because the lighting will be in the wrong place if we do that. Although, let's just have a little look how that works. So if I create a new layer and click, if I put rotate value, like 17%. Ah, right, yeah, so it's rotating each time. That's cool. Oh, so you can actually paint with them as well. Yeah, so each time I do it, it's rotating by a few degrees. Yeah, we definitely don't want that. So we set that back to 0. Oh no, we've broken it. How do you set that to 0? Sure, it said C before. You can do random rotations in a range as well. I messed it up. I don't know how to set that back. We set it at 90. It'll only do 91. I have no idea how to set that back. If I just go reset brush, oh, it goes to C. There we go. Right, Lovely. So we made a right mess of that layer as well. Let's delete that. Well, we're learning together, aren't we? So I think there's one problem. I've made an orange ball and the ball pool's orange, but my yellow and orange are similar to the backgrounds. We'll work that out. So let's just call this brush balls. Let's get rid of all these other layers where we messed about with different attempts at that, which were all rubbish. Delete that. Don't even know what that one is. Delete it. That's the pool itself. So we're going to start the back edge and work our way forward. So I am literally going to click them round like this, which is the back layer of them. I'm going to trust the random. I know there's a few the same together. We haven't had many blues yet. Place your bets. What colour's going to come out next? Blue. Red. Red one for ages. So this could win an award for being the most boring live stream ever. Come and watch a guy clicking individual balls down in a ball pool. So now I'm going to go in front of all of them. And whatever I do here, I know at some point I've got to get some characters in this ball pool, and then there's going to be some animation in the ball pool as well. So I'm sure I might regret this at some later date. I mean, if these were instanced, can you imagine the power? If then you go, actually, no, I want to change the shine or the light on them, and you just changed one instance and all of the balls changed. That would be cool, wouldn't it? We've got something weird going on here because the foreground of the ball pool is in front of it, this pool front. But that's how it needs to be for now. We'll sort out that corner later on. Oh, too many greens. What happens if I click right button? Oh, it swaps. Oh no, it doesn't. It does something else. Don't do that. I wonder if you can advance to the next brush. Let's have a little look, because you might fiddle with this. Some settings somewhere, I'm sure. Oh, there you go. Edit live brush, next brush, space and W. I'll go and change that. So keyboard shortcuts. Oops. Live brush, next brush. Get rid of that. So next brush, add a shortcut. Let's just put that. Live brush, next brush. Okay. There you go. So you can cycle through them now. You can choose your colour as you go. Beautiful. So I'll put red down there. If I don't like the one that it gives me, I can just swap it to another one. Oh. Now we've got the power, haven't we, that we wanted. Feels like we need a green in there. Red, purple, green's fine. Too many reds in a row. Purple, one blue there, red there, and orange there. Red, orange, red, orange. Blue, red, green, blue, purple, blue, red, blue. Nice. This is the power I was after. complete randomized control, but also the creativity to choose a colour you like. Now we're cooking. And it's got that kind of uniform look that I was after, where they're not just sprayed down randomly, and it feels like the ones in front are blocking the ones behind. So that's grand, that's looking nice. Let's carry on. Finger on me switch key. Seems to take a while to switch. Not sure why. So I'm pressing next, press it 3 times then, and it didn't move one. Ah, I wonder if, yeah, I think next is random. So because I've got it set to random, I reckon if I put that on forward, yeah, so now it is cycling through. But because it was on random, when I was pressing next, it just gives me a random different one. So sometimes it isn't doing anything, it's just giving me the same one again. Yeah. It's good when you learn what's going on, isn't it? So I hope that the live stream title has met with your expectations, because this is quite literally balls, and there are many of them. Anyone counting? Prize for the person who manages to correctly identify how many balls we have put in this ball pool. Don't know what that prize will be. Maybe a ball. I mean, what I'll probably find out in a moment is there's probably a way just to like click and drag and have them space out as you go. It is, isn't there? There's like an offset button there. I'm scared. Let me save it. Let me just create, call it draw. So I wonder if you do an offset value of 10. No, still draws a worm. Oh, it's offset around the cursor. Oh, look at that. Interesting. So I think rather than using those settings there, if I just turn that back off, so we're using it as a paintbrush here. Still have an offset there, it's sorting itself. Oh yeah, so they're the default options, yeah. That's weird, that's like pattern arrange to source and align to destination. I don't think that's correct, yeah. Yeah, so you can paint on like a whole pattern like that. Good for doing bricks and pattern backgrounds and things. But we're using it as a paintbrush. I think if you, I'm not sure, but perhaps here on, if you put it on the spray paint tool, oh hey, loads of balls. I have no spray width. Yeah. I mean, it's something, isn't it? It's interesting tools. Every click it goes through a different brush. These are all really useful things to know. All right, okay, let's just get on with it. It's looking much nicer. It's much more like I wanted it to look. So I'm happy that I've spent £4 on this plugin. So let's and incidentally, yeah, this game I'm making is, my intention is not to make, it won't make a lot of money. I can guarantee that. It's a small indie point and click adventure game. They don't tend to make much money. So the financial savviness of spending £5 on a plugin so I can draw these balls, I'm obviously no expert, but it's probably not advised. I think it's worth it. I'm having fun, and I'm sure you're all bored to tears. We're nearly there, and when I say nearly, we're closer to completing than we were when we started. Let's get these dotted in. A few of the same colour here, but that would happen in real life. I'll live with that. A couple of little gaps in there, but I think that's fine. I'm now turning my other half of my brain to the fact I'm going to have to draw this slide in a minute, and that's going to have a lot of weird shading on it as well. So kind of had a vision of this because this is one of the finale scenes in the game. It's kind of something that was just ridiculous and silly, as the story of this game is. That after all of the intrigue and things that are going on, one of the final scenes is in a ball pool. Just adds some further ridiculousness to it. I started going that way. I just suddenly thought, why don't I go back that way, and then they'd be overlapped in the other direction and it would look weird. So let's not do that just as we're about to finish it. I mean, if there's a way of voting for the most tedious live stream, then please do vote. Leave a comment. Tell me how bored on a scale of 1 to 10 it has made you watching this particular live stream. Hopefully they're not all quite as boring as this, but I would forgive you for voting this one of the most tedious things you've ever watched. Right, I think we've got it. Lovely. So that looks much more like I wanted it to, but I must admit I don't like the colours as I expected I wouldn't. But they're all on this one layer. We can then have a little fiddle with the hue and saturation, see if we can change them up to something that we prefer. I think it's tricky for me because I'm not keen on any of these, but I knew this would happen. And so much of it is personal preference. I'll probably come back to it and want to change it again at some point. But yeah, at the moment, none of these are floating my boat. Cancel that. Do I prefer them as they were? Maybe I prefer them as they were. We'll leave it like that for now. We can always duplicate that and change it out. So a couple of other things I want to get finished in here. What have we got here? They're the nets. I started drawing this quite up. New Year, just after New Year. I kind of didn't even finish off the steps. There was going to be some steps over here. Oh, we've still got our brush. How do we get rid of our brush? Brush type. There we go. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a set of stairs here. It was just in the background as if it was a way for kids to climb up to the next layer. On the topic of point and click adventures, I notice the Return of the Obra Dinn is on the Steam sale. I think there's like a detective month or something, so there's quite a few like point and clicks that are in the Steam sale at the moment. So I've been meaning to play that Obra Dinn for ages. So I think I'm gonna get that bought. I'll give that a go. Right, these stairs then. Brilliant, brilliant skills there. Getting the feeling of them going back into the distance. Not sure if I've got that the right way around. They're getting darker as they go into the distance, but that's fine for now. Just some stairs up to that landing. We have some other garish colours and things around here. But the idea is this slide coming down into the ball pool. I mean, it doesn't really need to be there, but I think it gives you an interesting it's interesting for the eye. It kind of definitely sells what's going on here. But so if this is like a round thing, we need this to be getting lighter as we go over. So let's just oh, that scared the crap out of me there. Hello, Carl. Happy New Year. Welcome back. It's so bloody loud, the chat notification. It scared the life out of me. Good to see you. Thanks for joining again. How was the snowboarding? It was excellent. Thank you. Yeah, we got a mixed bag of all weathers. So the first couple of days, bright blue sky, sunshine, but pretty scratchy, hard snow because they hadn't had a lot in the Alps at that point. And then on the third day, well, for the 2 days, the Wednesday, Thursday, or the Tuesday, Wednesday, massive snowstorm. So loads and loads of fresh powder, really good for snowboarding. Visibility wasn't as good, but it was great. And then on the final day, it was lovely. So yeah, all in all, excellent. Thank you very much. Did you have a nice Christmas and New Year as well? Anything exciting done? Did you get started on your game, most importantly? The shading of this is going to be really weird because that's going to be dark under there, possibly even darker than that one. This is going to be tricky. Oh, newborn. Yeah, that would put a game on hold. Well, congratulations on the newborn. Will definitely keep you busy. Not that I have the experience of that. We are, apart from 2 stupid dogs, childless. So that's the only reason, really, I think, that I get the opportunity to do this. But yes, I hope you had a nice Christmas. Same goes for anyone else who ends up watching this stream back. Appreciate one of the hardest things in indie game development is time, especially if you have a full-time job as well. Difficult to find the time to do everything. This is going to be weird. I am not totally sure about how to shade this, because if the light's coming from the top left, this would be casting a big shadow across the rest of that. That would probably actually come round like that. This is going to be kind of messy, I fear. Yeah, not happy with this. Going to struggle with this, I think. I mean, I've made it difficult for myself, as is tradition, by showing the open end of the slide rather than just doing it from the side, but we are where we are. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I've just got a feeling it's just not going to read very well as a slide. It's going to look a bit weird from there. How else could I do it? Let's persevere for a bit. The joys of hand-drawn stuff. Might waste half an hour here. Light should dictate that this bit would be darker, and we're just getting into a real mess of different oranges here. Yeah, multi-lane one, possibly. I mean, originally, this is going to be, there's going to be a cutscene that opens in here, and originally Clive was going to come down the slide, but I kind of sacked that off for a different entrance for him. I mean, this might work. I'm starting to become more confident about this as I go on. So, I mean, technically, from a story point of view, it doesn't have to have a slide at all. It just, I think, helps to sell what we're looking at. A ball pool with the slide into it. But I am having some regrets about this. It's bright. Oh, no, it looks all right now. Now I've put that brightness at the front. I think we're getting there. Just some of these angles, I'm literally guessing at how the light would be. That would maybe come down. It's all smooth, isn't it? It's like there wouldn't be any edges, otherwise you'd knack yourself when you came down it. So yeah, this front lip bit. Yeah, you're right. because it would kind of have an edge. This needs a thicker edge, but then the rest of it would be smooth, and then the bit under here, yeah, so it's maybe actually that we've just, this is too thick. Carve all that off. And we need, what colour is it? That's going to be slightly darker than the other one, but that would be introducing yet another colour. Let's see what it looks like with that. Nope. It's so confusing. Because it kind of, it's the thickness of the plastic that we're drawing. But it's not going to be that dark. You know that. Just by doing it dark like that, just give me a hint to what it should look like. Let's just fill it along. Hello, Chris. Happy New Year. I hope you and family and everyone had a nice Christmas. Good to see you back. I've survived snowboarding, but I ended up not getting a chance to do a live. I couldn't have done one the week I got back because I got back very late on the Sunday night. But I must admit, I could have done one last weekend, but I was catching back up with work. Right, I think I'm getting there with the shape of that. I think. Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? That looks a little bit better. I just think some of the shading's wrong. I think this wouldn't be as dark. That's the dark bit. So I think what we need to do is fill that in that colour. Take that colour, strike a line down there, and fill that in that colour. Now we're getting there. Maybe that. This would arc over a bit because the light can't get to there. Whoops. Do that far too often. I mean, to be fair to both of you, I'm very glad you've both joined. And in a way, I'm kind of glad you both joined late, because whilst you've missed some new bits of artwork that I did in the new year, what you haven't missed is me independently drawing all of these balls. So think yourselves lucky. When you go back and watch the live stream, you will see an interesting new tool that lets me cycle through different custom brushes. It's called Live Brush. It's a custom brush manager, which is really, really handy for Aesprite, so that I can literally click down independent balls of different colours and get the perspective of them all right. But you have effectively missed almost 15 minutes of me drawing balls. So, I mean, good timing, if anything. You didn't have to sit through that. As a quick overview, as you're both regulars, the tool itself kind of works really nicely, actually. I'll just show you it now. Live Brush. So this is Live Brush. Once you've made a brush, oh, I don't know how you get back. How would you get back? Brush set. Oh, there you go. So I made this little brush that's these different balls. I'm not quite sure how you activate it once you've turned it off. I don't know. Config. I'm not quite sure. Put it back on there. Well, this shows that I didn't know what I was doing. I quite literally said I had a quick 2-minute test of it before the stream. I don't know how you actually select what you want to use. Nope. I'm at a total loss as to how, because there's the brush set that you create anyway. You're quite right there. I have ballsed it up. Is it the pencil? Is it because it's not the pencil tool? That's the picker. The brush. There was a drop down up here that disappeared basically. Yeah, there was a drop down up there. I have no idea where it's gone. That is bizarre. Yeah, it's kind of like it's not. It's like not got it selected. So the brush sets thing, I don't know how you tell it to use one of the brush sets. Anyway, have a look back at the live stream. Did it perfectly there at the start of the live stream. No idea what I've done. Yeah, I don't want to create one. I just want to use one that you've got, but it seems to have turned itself off. Not quite sure how you turn it back on. Let's look at the keyboard shortcuts for it. Live brush. Nope. Oh, there you go. I've just selected none and then back to that, and it's brought up the little drop down. Yeah, so now you've got your brush set up. You can basically use it as a paintbrush, and when you click, if you've got the tools set up here to randomize, you can basically, every time you click, it gives you a different brush out of the ones that you've created. So yeah, go back and have a look on the start of the stream. It's incredibly handy, and it has made the job of doing the balls in the ball pool much easier. And because I've been able to just do it in stripes, they're all in front of each other in perspective, and it worked out quite nicely. So yeah, have a little look back at that. Let's clean this up. Oops. No, I've got the wrong layer selected, haven't I? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was an extension. I'd tried to draw the ball pool just a couple of weeks ago and wasn't happy with the way it was working. There is a nice brush tool in Aesprite where you can kind of paint with the brushes, but like you make a stamp effectively and stamp it again and again. But there wasn't a way to randomly cycle through different colours. So I was fiddling with that and then just did a Google search for like whether you could do it in Aesprite and found that little extension. So I thought it was worthwhile spending £5 on it to get the effect that I wanted. Right, that's starting to look like a slide-ish. Although that would actually go to there. Yeah, the other bits you'll see at the start of the live stream as well, just some other updates to some of the scenes that I hadn't quite finished off. So I've finished off the front of the Funky Monkeys soft plate, added all the detail to that, did a little bit on the side alley and a bit on the rooftop just to tidy all them up as well. Right. Oops. No, what have I done? Up there. So we're gonna, just to separate some things here, I'm just gonna start putting some shadows in. It's all very bright at the moment. I'll be casting a shadow onto the pool, onto there. And onto the wall. Although that's going to go around a corner, I think. I mean, all of this is just superficial. These things don't particularly matter to this scene. It is just background stuff. But it needs to feel right, I suppose. Sure that feels big enough for the light that it would cast. Maybe cast further over like that. Do for now, it just gives a bit of definition to it. Similarly, oh no, yeah, I knew this was going to be a problem with the balls, that I obviously can't create shadows all over them. I wonder if let's just go behind. As I mentioned earlier on, like there's going to be animation happening in here as well, and that's going to be really tricky. I might totally regret this, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because there's going to be some tricky stuff to do. I might end up thinking again with this, but we're going to create a foreground. I think what I want here is just like the silhouette of a funny character, as if there's like a clown or something just here in the foreground. So again, what am I pressing? Oh, I pressed the wrong key. So I just want to kind of suggest some big hands or something for now. Not quite sure what's what here. A big nose or something. I just want to block this corner off really. I don't want too much detail here. As in too much background detail. It's a dinosaur. You can tell I'm making this up as I go along. Or a monkey, of course, it's a monkey. Little nose, bottom lip, jowl. Monkeys, isn't it? Big tail. Or is that going to look like a penis? Get rid of that. Bit dodgy. Right, let's not put that there. Let's suggest. So there's going to be characters in ball pool, so I can't block too much of it off, but just want to get that usual style of something blocking the edges. No, yeah, palm trees may be a nice idea. Let's put in some palm type shapes, but we'll see how it looks. I need to finish this black bit in the background. Isn't going to be black. I just kind of want it just to be garish colours. It's the absurdity of this final scene and kind of what's happening and why in a ball pool kind of thing. So the garish colours and everything are all part of just the stupidness of the game, basically. I really don't like the colours of the balls. They're not matching the other stuff. It's upsetting me, and I'm worried now, as I was right at the start of this stream, that it's kind of not going to be quite salvageable in this, like, these options that we've got here. We're now kind of stuck in a colourway that there's always one of them that I don't like the colour of. That's alpha, isn't it? Yeah, can't be messing with that. Don't mess with the alpha. I'm not sure what. Yeah. It's a tricky one. I know it's personal preference for everyone, but there's just something about it. I should have done it this pink, this blue, and this yellow. At least I would have had some, like, synergy with the other stuff in the scene. I mean, that's kind of better. Still not totally happy with that, but we'll stick with it for now, I think. Press on. So we want some other garish colours, and maybe this is what I should have done really, is picked 4 garish colours for the background. So this walls bit here, I was gonna kind of do it in like jazzy shapes. Just so it's like completely horrible garish. Some of that blue. I mean, it all looks pretty horrible, doesn't it? I've got a feeling this is one of those scenes that at some point you're going to come onto a live stream and I'm going to have deleted it and start again. Yes, it is a bit like early 90s. Like, I mean, it's meant to look like horrendously vibrant and horrible just to add to the silliness of it. But yeah, it might be a bit too much. Yeah, that is kind of similar to like was it a Capri ski jacket? Something like that off of the 90s. I think I had one of them as well in those horrendous colours. Yeah, I've got a feeling this might not see the light of day, this scene. There's something about it which isn't feeling in keeping with the other stuff that I've done. I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but what we'll do is we'll just bravely soldier on. We really need is another awful colour back there, don't we? It's all blending a bit better like that, but I just worry about how awful the colour choices are. How purposefully awful they are, but it's just going to jar a bit too much. Especially for a scene that is kind of pivotal in the game. I don't want it to just look rubbish. I'm unconvinced, but it might have to stay like that for now. Palm tree looks all right. Big monkey hands look all right. Oops. Yeah, could dither them in a bit. You're right. I'm just not sure. I think I probably need more detail rather than just big block colours. I think what I might need to do is come and think about some posters and some things that have just got a bit more like graphical elements to them, something that's a bit more recognizable for what it is. But I'm not sure yet what that is. But it's not totally awful. I'm not totally against it. But I think what I'm going to have to do is add some other details so there's just not so many block colours. Yeah, we might maybe just try it. Oh yes, yeah, that kind of thing. That's not like a bad idea. Yeah. Let me just throw like a poster onto this back wall. Just something to take the eye away a bit from all the gear. Something that isn't quite straight as well, with like a folded up corner or something that's ripped. I think it just needs some other stuff like this that's it's kind of, I think because a lot of my other scenes have got lots of little bits of detail and texture in them. That's what it's lacking at the moment, I think. Just going to need to work out ways to add that. Yeah. Yes, like the rules of the fun house. It's like rule number 1, don't have too much fun. I went to one of them, I think it was Jump 360, like those trampoline parks with our nephews. This was years ago. And they made you watch like a safety video at the start. And I think the sentence, what was it? It was like the most horrendous safety video you'd ever seen, which was people being, could result in total paralysis or death. And I think they mentioned total paralysis or death about 30 times in this 5-minute briefing. Basically the kids sat there like terrified. Well, actually they weren't listening, to be honest. We were a bit terrified because we took our nephews there. That was the main concern for us. But yes, a list of like rules is kind of good. Like the old swimming pool ones, the no running, no screaming, no heavy petting, all of that kind of thing. I've only got a few pixels to play with there though, so I think that's going to be the struggle. I wonder if I don't think I've got really enough pixels to do the writing on it, to be honest. I won't even get the word rules in there. Without it looking really weird. It's at a funny angle. I mean, we can kind of mock it up like those old, remember the swimming pool rules? This thing, will patrons kindly refrain from? My brother's got one of these in his bathroom, actually. The old running, pushing, acrobatics and gymnastics. Used to have that in my smoking, petting. I used to have that in my local swimming pool. Yeah, that kind of thing. But let's just put in some little like stick figure type things. Yes, you're right. The only time in your life when you see the word heavy petting is on that swimming pool rules thing. In fact, it just said petting. I think we've added the heavy bit over the years. I think there'd probably be more monkeys around as well, wouldn't there? There might be like monkey ears on here, maybe. What did the front monkeys look like? This is one I updated, by the way, which has got... oh, hang on a sec. What have I done there? That isn't... That always scares me. Funky monkeys. There we go. Where's the PNG? Suddenly had no layers in it. I thought I'd squashed it. Yeah, so this was all the extra detail I added to the front of Funky Monkeys. I went on about this at the start of the slide should have been a banana. Where were you an hour ago, Kyle? It's a missed opportunity. The slide should have been a banana. Oh, Christ. Can we make it into a banana? Let's make it yellow. Brown end on it. No, what's done is done. It's an orange slide. It's not changing now. But I think I might put some ears on it. So like this kind of monkey's face with the big brown ears. Let's stick some ears on the slide. I just need to add more detail. It's like in for a penny, in for a pound. Just keep adding detail. So we'll just fill these in. Oops. Is there anything that makes it even more ridiculous for the story that this group of people would be meeting in a ball pool? In a closed down kids soft play. I think it's quite possible I was drunk whilst I thought up this bit of the story. It's like, what would be the most ridiculous place for this group of really serious people to be meeting? It's like a ball pool. Tongue hanging off the lip. Brilliant. Brilliant. Can always rely on you. Tongue. Do monkeys have tongues? Of course they have tongues. What a fucking stupid thing to say. Do monkeys have tongues? But yes, let's put a tongue on it. Maybe smaller than that. Yeah, no, this is good. Adding detail is helping. It's breaking up all the garish colours. I think there's going to be some other items that need to go in here as well that are relevant to the story. I think we maybe do need some big bananas, don't we, around the ball pool. That might help break up a couple of these edges. So let's give it a quick save. So the back of the pool is there in front of the nets. Banana, that's not how you spell banana. I'm thinking of nicking this one. Let's spin that round a bit. To tidy that up a bit, I think. It's got a bit weird when we've rotated it. Yeah, you get some really weird pixel issues with them. Easy now, yes, it's getting a bit dodgy, isn't it? But it is helping break all of this up. I think what we want to do is get some... I kind of like the fact that it's kind of obscene as well. I mean, it suits the silliness of this situation that Clive finds himself in, to be honest. So let's just tidy up all of these pixels that have gone weird whilst it's being rotated. I think it's where it's trying to find the nearest neighbour when it's rotating. It just adds loads of extra detail that it doesn't need. Yeah, I like the fact that they look phallic and weird. It just makes it even sillier. I realise I'm drawing on the wrong banana, and that's not something that you'll hear every day. I'm hungry. What time is it? Oh, it's nearly 10 o'clock. Let's get another banana in here. Flip that. Twist. We've just done the... deleted that then. Put that on the same layer. How's it done that? The colour picker is picking the alpha as well, because I've got that shadow in the way. What's going on? tell something weird was happening. Yes, no, that's a great idea. I was in the process of saying these like palm tree type fronds. I'm going to add some greens in. There's no green at all in here, so well, apart from that kind of minty green. So yeah, I'm going to put in some kind of vines, green things. It's a nice idea, and I can put some foreground ones in as well. So yeah, let's do a couple of foreground ones. Give it that kind of jungle theme. Let's just create these in a group, new group, foreground, make it black, lines. I might shuffle some of these around a little bit so that they're just in different locations, but yeah, just helping to break it up a bit. And then if we put some actual green ones in there as well in the background layer, that'll be handy. And perhaps let's just create a separate layer for this. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to put one that's just much bigger. It might be too much that, but yeah, it's too much. Gone too far. Pull that back a bit in a sec. Confuses a lot of the shapes. That too big, too bold. So I think what we could do in the foreground here kind of palm frondy type things going on. And I often come back later and just put a touch of colour on the corners of these. Just something that was kind of part of the Sam and Max kind of style of things, and quite a few of them. I might have another plant type, round leaves, and then I can kind of do some of these in full colour at the other side of the ball pool. There used to be a soft play thing in my hometown of Redcar called the Mungle Jungle, which is, this is bringing memories back of. Yeah, no, this is looking much more fun now. It's starting to feel like the Monkey Island theme park thing. So yeah, I like this. Yeah, it's breaking it up nicely. So I think as well. What type of thing there? Just a little bit more down here. Yeah, kind of cool. There's maybe a bit too much going on at the top, but we'll worry about that later on. I might pare some of that back. So we want to try and get some green. I wonder if this big yellow area over here, it might not even be necessary anymore. The walls. Rid of that line. Yes, it's looking ridiculous, which is exactly what it needs to look like. So this is going well. The green things are going to end up going behind the pool. Behind the pool. Some of them are going to want to come over the edge, though. You have to draw them in front, I think. No, no, get up there. So I'm not sure about the shapes of these. Kind of know the type of plant I'm after. It's like got gaps in it. It's not the palm that I'm wanting. It's more like this. That's the one I'm after. Like that kind of shape. Ariati. Well, it's not called that. I mean, that's what I'm after. Something that's that kind of shape. Just slide that over there off the screen so I can kind of copy it. Yeah, I don't like that. Delete that. Again. I always create it in the wrong place. What I would think. So let's just. So it's like that, and then it has a gap in it. Not sure like anything I'm going to do is really going to make it look like that, but just hinting at the same shapes. Yeah, maybe think it's a bit too much realism, given that there wouldn't be real plants in a soft play area. It'd be kind of like big foam ones or something. It's doing the job, I think. You have to tone back the colours of them a little bit, but I think as well we might be able to just put some like little vines coming over here. And that'll allow us to add some like shadow detail and stuff onto. Yeah, no, it's, the green's nice. The green's definitely adding something to it. Pop some down here in the shadows as well. There is always a lost sock, yes. There's in this particular scene, there might not be any opportunity to walk about, you're going to end up in the ball pit. And of course, I do not want to get into a character walking in a ball pit and moving all the balls around and things. This scene is really here just to set a cutscene in motion. Right at the end of the game. So the player won't get to click on much in here. It'll be driven by a conversation that you're having in the ball pool with a group of people. So there won't be any like hotspots to click on, I don't think. Right, it's definitely feeling more lively now. I'm happier about this. I think some of these plant layers, I need to duplicate them. Flip them round. Whoopsie daisy. Just take auto select blur off. Just trying to break up some of the and draw another one at least. Just noticing the time actually. It's been 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up shortly. Let's just try and get a green one in there. Yeah, I think some of this is gonna have to be kind of recolored and pared back a bit. Have to do some like getting all those plant layers there. Let's just make sure they're all called something. Leaf. Leaf, just so I know what they all are. So these are all plants. Vines. Grab all of them. Stick them in a folder called green plants. And then it's possible. Oh, you can't do it to layer. It's really annoying that why you can't apply like adjustments to a group. And I think when you do it like this, you get the preview of the one layer you've got at the top, and then when you click OK, it does it to all of them. So yeah, I mean that's looking interesting now as a location. Still not keen on the colour of the balls, but there's not much I can do about that now, I don't think. Short of redrawing them all in these colours here, but I'll have a think about that. I might even take that layer into Photoshop and just just tweak the coloration of that layer a little bit. Yes, I think I'll have to look at that next time, but I'm definitely much happier about how everything's sitting in there. The slide and everything looks much better. We've got a lot more detail going on, and we've got all the characters that are going to be stood in here as well are going to add more detail. I might need to move some of these black areas that are in the way. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. It's worked out pretty well. It's just the colour of those balls that is annoying me. Let's just have a one last little look at them. Edit. Don't know what other adjustments we've got. If you do an outline, just outline, yeah. Yeah, they're just inside them. Right, cancel that. What's convolution matrix? Oh, it's all the blurs, isn't it? Contrast, negative, edges, contours, embossing. I didn't know you could do all that. Loads of drunk filters. It's possible some variants of this laid on top might allow me to change the colours a bit nicer, but what's the colour curve like? I mean, you'd think I'd be able to find a colour that I liked. Maybe they just need to be darker. Oh, way up, way up. I'll get that pink next to that other pink. Go for the greens. All these purples, it's like there's almost too many of the purples. I'm feeling slightly better about it. They're matching a little bit better. Right, that'll do. That'll do. It's looking okay. We're going to end up with our like usual lighting in there to add, and I've still got to do all the shadows and things just to add some more depth to things. So I might end up like outlining some of the balls in shadows and things. Some of these leaves casting a shadow. But yeah, we will be doing that next time, I think, unless I do it offline. All right, I think that's going to have to be it. Thank you again, Kyle, for all your input, and Chris for coming along. Happy New Year again to everyone. I should get back on to Sunday nights or Monday nights for most of the live streams. I'll maybe pull up together some tutorials as well, because I've not done any of them for a while, and I've been getting a few comments from strangers on YouTube. All really nice stuff though, that people are commenting on videos and getting people viewing stuff. So yeah, please come along to the next one. Leave comments on the videos that are there if you haven't already. And if you're watching this for the first time, thank you very much for watching, and please do hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment. Happy to answer questions, and happy to even dedicate a live stream to a particular topic if somebody is interested in some particular part of Adventure Creator or Aesprite or anything else that I use. So yeah, take care. See you all next week. Cheers. Bye.